the Roman Catholic view of sin as as we were saying, is an important issue because of the many accords and conferences and seminars that are put on linking evangelical and Reformed Protestantism to Roman Catholic priests and Jesuits that have gone on now for several years. And they seem to be multiplying rather than decreasing. So we have to look at how Rome views sin, and it is quite different from how the Reformers and those who follow them view sin. So the Council of Trent was in so many ways ambiguous in its statements about sin, but says some of the following. Sin is only a negative evil, not a positive evil. It is the lack of something in man, not a positive transgression by man. It is the want of original righteousness, but not a fall into depravity, in which man's nature underwent a radical change. So Rome does not believe in total depravity, and of course many Protestants, so-called, do not believe in total depravity today, and that's one of the reasons why they can come together. Roman Catholic teaching is that man's original righteousness was something added to his personality, which in Latin is called the donum super additum, which means the gift added. The gift that was added is his original righteousness, you might say, and that was added to his personality, but he lost that in the fall, but it didn't affect him as a man because it was only something that was added that was then taken away. So Adam lost his donum super additum, which was an addition to his personality, not his whole nature. So this additive, when it is taken away, did not greatly affect man at all. His human nature was still pretty much intact. By his disobedience, only the original additive was affected, and that was lost, but it did not affect the human nature of Adam. So the Protestant Reformers taught that man was affected totally by his fall into sin with regard to his nature. His human nature then became sinful, and Christ corroborates that when he says, but the Pharisees weren't worrying about washing their hands and all. He said, it's not that which goes into the man, but that which comes out of the man that defiles the man. And then he lists fornication, adultery, murder, deceit, all these things that come out of the nature of man. His evil thoughts, which start everything, is because of his evil human nature now. And the Lord said to the Pharisees, you're of your father the devil, because the lusts of your father you will do. So they weren't just neutral. They were doing the lusts of the flesh, which arose from their father, who was the devil. So the main objections to such a view are as follows. The idea that man's original righteousness was something added to man over and above his human nature is simply, we know, unscriptural. There's not a shred of such a teaching anywhere to be found in the Bible. So it just came out of men like Pelagius and their teaching, which they extracted from the Bible. It fails to deal adequately, too, with the sin nature of man, which is obviously present now in the human race. And so people, observe that the little children do not have to be taught to lie. They tell lies not long after they're able to talk and do things. They will become secretive and lie about things that they have done, which nobody has taught them, I hope. At least in many Christian homes, it's found that the human nature is what Christ said. Out of it come the thoughts and the actions of sinful man. So it's omnipresent in the human race that as man goes up, he is totally depraved. And that's what we'll look at next time there, the total depravity of man. And of course, the same arguments against Pelagianism can be applied to the Roman Catholic position also. And they also did not put the guilt. So some say that Rome is semi-Pelagian. That is, they admit the pollution of sin will extend to man as he grows and becomes affected by the world and by other bad examples there, but they do not attach the guilt, whereas Reformed theology believes both in the utter pollution and guilt of the human race, because that's what the Bible teaches. When it goes down through that big long series, with their tongues they have used deceit, the poison of asps is under their lips, their mouth is full of cursing and bitterness, their feet are swift to shed blood, destruction and misery are in their ways, and the way of peace they have not known. There's no fear of God before their eyes. Now all these things man does, that every mouth may be stopped, and the whole world become guilty before God. That's the way the Apostle Paul wrote it there in Romans chapter 3, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. So the Bible teaches both the corruption and the guilt of the human race in the fall of Adam, that his nature passed upon all men, and death has passed upon all men, for that all have sinned, Romans 5:12. So until next time then, we'll look at that some more there, the total depravity of man, a position that many deny today, but which many used to, at least in Protestantism. Nearly all evangelical Protestantism, including the Wesleyan Arminians, as well as the Calvinists, all believed in the total depravity of man. So until next time then, we trust the Lord will richly bless you, is our prayer.